Let's jump right in. If you've ever felt like saving money is just an impossible uphill battle, I need you to hear this. You are not alone. And honestly, the data completely proves that you aren't broken either. In this explainer, we're diving deep into why struggling to build up savings is almost never just a simple lack of willpower. We're going to unpack the real, systemic reasons behind financial struggles and, more importantly, lay out a clear, totally shame-free path to finally break the cycle. This explainer immediately tackles what is, frankly, the most dangerous lie in personal finance. The myth that you're just lazy or inherently bad with money if your savings account isn't massive. I mean, think about it. When your entire life is built around constant financial recovery, recovering from low pay, recovering from unexpected emergencies, or constantly bailing out family members, saving doesn't feel like a habit, right? It feels like an absolute miracle. And this highlights a huge disconnect in the advice we're given today. On one hand, you have this fake guru fluff. You know the type. Advice designed for people who already have a comfortable margin in their lives. People whose parents had a financial cushion, who maybe got a little help with the down payment. But for so many others, the reality is a pure, unadulterated survival problem. You literally cannot save consistently if your entire financial life is just putting out fires. The starting lines, they are vastly different. Section 1, the wealth gap reality. Let's look at the numbers. The 2022 Federal Reserve data shows a disparity that is just staggering. The typical Black family had a median wealth of around $44,900, while the typical white family was sitting at $285,000. To put that into perspective, that is not a gap you can cross by just budgeting harder. This is a deeply systemic issue that points to completely different financial foundations. And the data from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau makes this even more stressful. They found that a massive 41% of Black consumers have absolutely zero margin for emergencies. Literally zero. That means for a huge portion of the population, after surviving the basics of daily life, there is nothing left. And when you don't have that cushion, every single mistake costs more, and every unexpected emergency hits so much harder. In fact, only 15% of Black consumers have at least 1 month of income saved for emergencies. So, if saving has felt agonizingly hard for you, please hear this. It does not automatically mean you're bad with money. It means the math has likely been completely stacked against you for a very, very long time. Section 2. Wealth as a shock absorber. We really need to completely reframe how we think about this. Wealth is not a flex. It's not about posting screenshots of a stock portfolio or living some luxury aesthetic. Wealth is simply a shock absorber. It's a defense system. It is the barrier that keeps a flat tire from turning into a missed day of work, which turns into a lost job, or keeps a hospital bill from spiraling into crushing credit card debt. Wealth buys you time, it buys you options, and it buys you dignity when life gets incredibly tough. But we also have to talk about something the source calls emotional inheritance. It's a piece of the puzzle that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's absolutely crucial. While some families inherit a nice, neat trust fund, others inherit eviction histories, bad credit, medical debt, and this constant underlying fear that money is never, ever safe. That emotional inheritance, the raw stress and anxiety, matters just as much as the financial one when you are trying to build your future. Just think about the 2019 Brookings data for a second. It perfectly illustrates why this struggle exists. Beyond the massive gap in average liquid assets, look at the safety net. White households are shown to be much more likely to have a family network that can just step in with $3,000 in a pinch. So when people casually ask, well, why don't some folks just save more? The answer is systemic. Some people are saving for the future, while others are constantly forced to rescue the present. Section 3, the Survival Fund Game Plan. All right, so how do we actually escape this trap? This game plan is custom designed for those operating in pure survival mode. First, and actually scratch that whole save 6 months of expenses advice you always hear. It's way too overwhelming and just creates shame. Target a highly accessible number, like $500, just to create some immediate momentum. Next, hide it in a completely separate account so you aren't tempted to touch it. And finally, automate an embarrassingly small amount, even $15 or $25 a paycheck, because a weak system will beat strong motivation every single time. And here is a total game changer. Are you the person your family constantly calls when they need financial support? You have got to stop treating those calls like a monthly surprise. Build a dedicated line item for it in your budget. Call it family help or unexpected support. A real budget has to tell the absolute truth about your life. If it happens every month, it's a reality, not a surprise. Section 4. Plugging the leaks. Now, when it comes to plugging the leaks in your spending, real progress rarely comes from cutting out small joys. We're not going to tell you to skip your morning coffee. Instead, you need to ruthlessly attack structural financial traps. We're talking about overdraft fees, the quiet drain of high-interest debt, those sneaky buy now, pay later payments, late fees, and massive car payments. Eliminating these traps gives you your margin back infinitely faster than skipping small moments of joy.
But there's also an unsexy, brutal truth here. Sometimes your budget is just squeezed dry. You literally cannot budget your way out of simply not making enough money. When you hit that wall, your next big breakthrough won't come from saving better. It's going to come from urgently increasing your income. That means asking for the raise, switching jobs, or aggressively pursuing a new certification. Personal finance simply gets a whole lot easier when there is actually money left over to manage.
Section 5. Breaking the cycle. Shame does not build wealth. Honesty does. Wow. Shame literally makes you hide from your bank account. It makes you spend emotionally just to feel a little bit better for one night. But radical honesty about where you are, what drains you, who you're trying to impress, and what you can genuinely afford, that is the real concrete foundation of wealth building. So, what does this all mean for you? The big takeaway from this explainer is this: you are not broken just because saving feels incredibly hard right now. You aren't cursed because your family didn't hand you a perfect financial blueprint. You might simply be the very first person in your family trying to stop a generational cycle that was vastly bigger than you. So, with this new understanding of the systemic math and a realistic game plan in your pocket, are you ready to take that crucial first step today?